with happiness. I struggle with depression and
You and all of us?
And all of us. I think life is heavy, and I think on the flip side of all of that is like when you really feel it and you feel our mortality, it's lonely and it's astonishing and it's so alienating, and just the monotony and the I don't know. There's so many things about life.
But I think it's lonely when you think it's you, but when we're all talking together and we know that we'll go
Right.
through the same, you're like, oh, I guess it's not that lonely.
Right,
It's
exactly.
just, I was thinking I was lonely because it was just me stuck on my head.
Right.
But I guess we also from depression, we all get anxious, we all get afraid, we all,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, so it's a community. So let's have fun together.
But it's those people who deny their loneliness and deny their depression and say it's a bad thing and try and define it and medicate it. Like, I heard this amazing, amazing story. This guy telling the story, he was doing research on depression. He'd been depressed for a long time, but he was an intellectual, and so at some point he was going to write a paper, and he went to this, had a friend who was from Africa, somewhere in northern Africa, and in the tradition of the village that she was raised, they dealt with depression in this very involved way. And she had told him about it, and he went there, and it involved having to go and find a sheep and find these vegetables and find cloth. And he arrives back at the village with the shaman, and the shaman directs him to take off all his clothes, and she makes these concoctions with the vegetables and the herbs, and she talks to the sheep, and he gets in bed with the sheep, and they cover them, all the people in the village throw fabric on him, and he's in this bed, and then they kill the sheep, and he has to get inside the sheep, and then the people come and they sing songs, and it's this crazy, exuberant experience, and he's laughing and he's crying, and afterwards he's reflecting, and he tells somebody else about it back in America, and he tells someone in Africa how that he'd had this experience, and she says to him, yes, we had someone come here, we had a psychologist come to our village, and we had to send him away because their way of dealing with depression was to seclude the individual, and that no community came to their rescue, and all you would do is sit in this room and talk about your depression and talk about your anxiety and focus on it, and they encourage you to sleep, and you would just, there was nobody there to bring life back into you, and to laugh with you and cry with you and show their support. And I think that is how we deal with it in America. We allow ourselves to go into this place of seclusion, and the people around us don't always know how to rally and support us and bring life back to us. You should really hear the story, but because the way he tells it is
So is that a documentary or what is it?
It's this program, The Moth. Do you know about The Moth? TheMoth.org. It was started, people telling stories on the stage, true stories. And now it's organized all across the country, and there's usually a theme, and 3 or 4 people come and tell a story. And I listen to it obsessively. You can listen to them all, like podcasts or online. And there's crazy stories, and this was one that I heard.
Nice.
Yeah. You should check that out, Inti. You would really like it.
I would definitely do.